My name's Scott. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Scott.
I'm grateful to be here tonight, and it's an honor and a privilege to be asked to do anything for Alcoholics Anonymous. And so tonight I'm going to tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it was like now. And I have a sponsor, and he has a sponsor, and so on. And this is my home group right here, Keeping It Sober. And I was born over here in Pinehurst, North Carolina, right around the corner, a little small town, 5-10 minutes away. So the people that's from here, they know where that's at. And I was born in a good home. Had 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and a great mom. You know, she did the best she could to raise me and my family the best she could. Growing up, it's just like any other people. Went to good schools and had some good teachers along the way. And early on, while I was a kid, I remember just always having somebody like my brothers and sisters to play around with and argue and fight with and all that good stuff that comes along with it. But so when I got a little older, in middle school, I started getting in a little trouble here and there, and when I was around, I'm gonna cut it forward and a little bit. So when I started, my first few times I had a drink, it was probably about 14, 15 years old, and I remember going up there to my brother's room where they used to party. They were a little bit older than me, and this disease right here got a hold of me and my family real quick, and but I always looked up to my brother and his friends. Man, I always try to go sneak upstairs and go hang out with them while they were doing other things. And there's other substances in my story. No disrespect to Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's going to be some other things. We're going to try to keep it to a minimum. But so whenever I started going up there, hanging out with them, drinking a little bit here and there, and then it seemed like it was fun, man. And once I started drinking, man, it took a feeling. It was a good feeling at first, man. It made me feel like, gave me that warm feeling. And so it started just being like a little bit here and there. Then later on in my life, when I got a little bit older, I started like partying on the weekends and started hanging out with my brothers a little bit more. And just watching them, I kind of wanted to be like them. And so after a while, I started hooking up with my old friends, got some friends along the way, and started doing my own things with them. And the progression of my disease, it took off real quick. After a few months to a year, man, I was out there. It didn't take long for me to pass that line of real hardcore drinking and alcoholism. And so I never knew there was anything wrong with drinking. It always seemed like it was fun at first. Had a lot of good times during my drinking, but there's a lot of places that it took me to, and but I'm gonna keep the focus a little bit on. So when I was early on, younger, probably around 17, 18 years old, I got introduced to a guy. He was a big part of my story and a big part of my life as well. But I'm gonna try not to go too much into detail. But I met this guy. He came to my house, and he came over. He always had nice things, nice cars, nice dirt bikes, and a lot of jewelry and stuff. And so I kind of looked up to him. I really didn't have no father figure in my life, and so I kind of wanted what he had. And when I was younger, I didn't mention this. My father, he passed away of cancer when I was about 10 years old, but I really didn't know anything about death at that time, and so it really didn't. It bothered me a little bit, but so I seen this guy and got introduced to him, and started doing a whole lot of illegal activities along my way, and try not to go in too much detail, but it started off seeing my brothers do a lot of these things, and that took off in my life, and that's the only kind of thing that I knew. But so when I picked up doing that, those illegal activities, man, I was able to drink like I wanted to, drink whenever I wanted to. Didn't really have no type of rules or anything, no direction in my life, man. Nobody to teach me right from wrong. My mom did the best she could to try to teach me these things at an early age, and I was a hard-headed kid. I really never listened. I always gave her a hard time, and just never listened. I broke every single rule that I could possibly think of. When I was going to school, I was always getting suspended, kicked out. Went from one middle school to another middle school. Didn't stick around Pinehurst too long. That's the school I went to, Pinehurst High School, and stayed there till about 10th grade. And my alcoholism and my partying took me away from that real quick. And I remember being at Pinehurst, the friends that I had at the time, they was always up there in the parking lot, and we would just always go skip school and go to one friend's house to another friend's house, and I just didn't really want too much to have with school or anything like that. Didn't seem like it was fun for me. It wasn't really for me. I was too interested in living the life I was living out here on the streets, basically. And so about 10th grade, started about 9th, 10th grade, I started getting in trouble here and there. Got my license and was able to drive and do whatever I wanted to, go wherever I wanted to, and started running in with the laws, and the law, got in trouble with the law my whole life, basically, till about right now. And I can tell you a little bit of that. So for me, I think I mentioned this in my story last time, and see, this is where I'm from, and every single county jail they have in Moore County, the Southern Pines Police Department, the old Southern Pines Police Department, the old Pinehurst Police Department, the new Pinehurst Police Department, every single police department they have around Moore County, I was in them. Been to every single county jail that they have, the old Carthage County Jail and the new one, and that's where it took me, and so I've been in and out of jail my whole life, and been to detox twice, been to Samaritan Colony twice, and really never experienced too much that I've experienced in those two places I've been to. Samaritan Colony had a real big impact on my life both times that I've been there, and I'll get to that in a little while. But so going through living the life that I was living out there, I was able to do whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to do. I didn't really have to listen to nobody. I always wanted to do what Scott wanted to do. Self-will, run Scott wide, right, So I did all that stuff, whatever, and you see where it led me to, and this was a disease of alcoholism. Going to all these bars around Moore County, being able to drink wherever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, and had a car. And I remember about 5 years ago, it was about this time, I went out to a bar in Southern Pines, and this was numerous times but it was a New Year's party, and I partied over there, and took off there, and got a DWI charge, and that was just my first DWI charge then. And I have numerous DWI charges, 3 or 4 DWI charges. And before I went to prison this last time, I went to court for a DWI charge, and my lawyer got it dismissed, and then not even 90 days later, I get another DWI charge, and that violated my probation. I was on a probation for some illegal activities I was doing in life, and so I violated my probation. I got sentenced to 9 to 10 months, and a 10 to 12, and a 10 to 21 ran concurrent. And my whole life, man, it's been like that since the age of, say, 16 to right now, and in and out of the county jail, in and out of prison. So this is my 3rd time at this time. So I went through the prison system, and about 5 months into it, I had to go through a 90-day new direction program in there, and the stuff that they were teaching me in there was like similar to the same stuff they taught me at the colony the first time. So I started being able to connect the dots there, and started thinking. I had a lot of time to think in there, and so while I was in there, about 5-6 months, I completed that program, and I remember there's going to be some other stuff in this story I'm going to try it well. My mom came up and seen me while I was in the prison system this time, and this took a real toll on my life and a real impact on me. So through my, the only good thing that happened to me during my alcoholism and other substances, I met a girl at a bar about 4 years ago, and she was a big part of my life, and she always will be. And this girl had 2 daughters with, Ember and Avery, and going to try not to go too much into it, but my mom, they were coming in to see me while I was in prison. I was just got done completing this program, and my mom come to see me. She was coming to see me with the kids a few times here and there, and I was visitation one day, and I thought it was Shannon. She was the girl I was with for almost 4 years. I thought she was bringing the kids up, but it was my mom. And she comes and sees me, and I went in there to go see her, and she wasn't there. I had to go to a different room. And this was just a big part of my story. And so I go in there, and the sergeant's in there with my mom, and my mom's sitting down. And she told me she had something to tell me, and it was kind of the worst news that I've ever really got in my life. And I'm in there, and the mother of my kids, she told me that this is gonna be hard, that I need to sit down. So she told me to sit down, and that Shannon got sick on a Tuesday and passed away on a Saturday. So that happened while I was in the prison system, and I had to deal with that for about 5-6 months into my sentence until I got released. And having to deal with that, man, it was just real hard on me. And so about 2-3 months before I was released, like I said, called Samaritan Colony, called Mark Christopher, and called the 2 guys. I haven't really talked about them yet in my story. Nate and Tim, they were a real big part of my recovery and sobriety today. But I called Nate and Tim, and I talked to them, and then I called Mark, and Mark asked me if I was going to come back up to Samaritan Colony when I got out. I really didn't have no other place to go to or nowhere to turn to when I was released. I could have went to had some of them old so-called friends come pick me up, and went backwards with my life, or I could have moved forward. So I called Mark and Nate and Tim, and went back to the colony for the second time. And when I got there, Mark was there at the front door, and and I thanked him for letting me come back up there and all that. And he said, "Don't thank me, thank God." And that was a big deal for me because, man, I was dealing with a whole lot of pain, hopeless, and really didn't have nowhere else to turn to. And so I got there, stayed there. I didn't really have too much to say. I was already broken. I went there one time, and I thought I was trying to do something, but wasn't really doing too much. So this time I just sat there and I did whatever they told me to do. I was willing to follow some directions and do anything to do something different with my life. So when I got I did that, man, and went through there and got a sponsor about a week before leaving. And my sponsor, man, he's been there for me the first time and the second time. He's the one that's helped me get through the detox and through Samaritan Colony both times. So I got through, so I had a privilege to get to go to one of these recovery homes over here. So I stayed over at the recovery home behind Arby's for about 6 months, then I went through the other one. And this year of being in these rooms right here, this is a special place for me. This is a place that I've been. This is the first AA meeting I've ever been to, and I'm going to share a little bit about that as well. One of my real close friends, I just had to go to his funeral services the other day. He was the first guy that ever brought me here. His name was Matt. He's a real close friend of mine. So we all got to go together and go to his service together, me and my brother, and a few people that's here tonight went there. But a year ago, before that, he was over there. He went to the girl that I was with, Shannon. He was there for her while I was in the prison system. And, man, me and him were close, man, and he's a big part of my story. He's a we got real close over the last 5 years, and he was there for me no matter what, man. If I ever needed anything, he was there. And but he brought me to my first AA meeting, and I'll be always very grateful for that. And so going through, I'm gonna rewind this a little bit back a little bit, and so this time being in these rooms right here. For the first 5-6 months, I really didn't have too much to say in here. I just sat back and just listened, sat quietly and just watched what was going on here. And I really enjoyed a lot of the things I've heard in here this time. And making the 90 meetings in my first 90 days, and I really had a lot of support and help from the people in these rooms, man. Y'all helped me out so much through this year, helped me get through a lot of stuff that there isn't no way that I would have been able to get through on my own. And I got to see a lot of good things go on in these rooms, and got to see a lot of people, families get back together. Got to see see, when I said I had a year of my sobriety, I don't know if I said it, my sobriety day is April 29th of 2016, and that is because I got sentenced to go to jail that day. That was my prison time, jail time, and so I have about almost 2 years of sobriety, 19 months of sobriety with close to a year in recovery. And my recovery started when I got to Samaritan Colony into these rooms right here. But I got to see a lot of good things here this time for my first. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience the first time coming through these doors and going through Samaritan Colony the first time. I'm going to go ahead and rewind that here. So I was at Pinehurst Hospital having my first daughter with Shannon, and I was so lost in life, and the guy that's my sponsor today, I know he wouldn't mind if I said his name. His name's Tim. Him and Tim came to the hospital. Him and Nate and Tim and another one of my good friends. He's not in these rooms, but they came and saw me at the hospital. And this was a time in my life I was so lost. I was on a bunch of pain medication and all that stuff, and they saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And they were here for probably a little over a year, coming through these. Had a little bit over a year sobriety, so. They came up there and talked to me and told me that I needed to do something different, man. And at first, I didn't understand what they were talking about, but they ended up talking to me about going through detox and going through Samaritan Colony. I went through detox my first time and I didn't go straight through treatment center. As soon as I got out, I went and hit the streets again, and you know that's not no good when you go through detox and hit the streets. I went right back to doing what I was doing. About a month later, I got court ordered for another time to go through detox and through Samaritan Colony. And that was my first time around. So I go through detox and to the bridge to recovery and waited on bed at Samaritan Colony. And at this time, my life was so messed up. I really don't know how to explain it, but I was so lost in life, dealing with a whole lot of pain and dealing with that thing called life at that time. And so I ended up going through Samaritan Colony, stayed there for the 28 days, and through that time, man, my head was so confused, man. Like I got there and I heard all these people talking about stuff in here and being grateful and a higher power and stuff like that, and I never, if you could have asked me then what gratitude meant, I couldn't even told you what it meant or what was a higher power or any of that stuff. And it scared, I was full of fear when I go out there the first time. And then coming through the doors here when I got out of there, I came through these doors right here, and it was the same thing they were talking about at Samaritan Colony. And I just could not understand what was going on here. Everybody that spoke I could relate to, and I was scared half to death. Thought everybody was in here was telling my story. But I got full of fear and I didn't stay too long. I probably stayed maybe 3-4 months and then didn't stay, and I went back to doing what I was doing. And took me about 2.5, 3 years to make it back here. And my story's kind of like mixed a little bit, but so I came here for the third time, and I just wanted to do something different with my life and do. It was just so I came here for the second time, and while I was behind the walls in the prison system, I was attending meetings while I was in there. I got to see a lot of good friends get released from the same prison that I met while I was in prison, and while we were going to meetings in there. And the message was the same thing that you hear in these rooms right here, and the things that I've heard at Samaritan Colony. And so I came here and heard that. So I came here for my second time, and I've heard a lot of good stuff here. And there's a lot of good things that I got to see this year, this journey in my life, this 1 year that I've been here. And got to see some people come from the same situation that I was living and come in here and try to get their life together as well. My mom came in here and she got a chance to see me. Her and my brother Andy came in here and got to see me pick up a 1-year chip. And then not too long ago, I got to see Andy pick up his chip. And that's a big deal to me, man. This program has done so much for me in my life that, man, it's just, in this short period of time, there's just so much stuff that I could talk about how great this program is and what it's done for me in my life. And so many people in here has helped me out along the way as well. And I got to see a good friend of mine, John, come through the colony and get out and get his life together, man, and get to see this light turn on in other people, man. It's just a big deal, man. And this is things that I could not even see the first time I came through the doors. And boy, there's still 30 minutes left. So when I got, I was about to say earlier, man, I'm glad the door was back there. I was going to try to take off out there, but shit. But so this time coming through, there's a few special people in my life that's helped me along my way. I'm going to go ahead and say their name. Mark, Pat, Robert, Harold, all the guys from the colony has helped me so much. And my sponsor, Tim, Nate, everybody in here's helped me in some type of way. And it's just a miracle, man, to be able to sit here and stand here tonight, man. And it's a big difference from where I was at a year ago to now. If you would have asked me a year ago if I would have been standing in front of y'all, I would have never thought I would be standing here tonight. And so I come in here and I see people like Jonathan and Brian and a lot of people in here before I was in here, and Frank and Mark and a lot of them guys that's really helped me out a whole lot along. But I'm just so grateful for the people that was here, man, because they've helped me out so much, man. And so I got out of the colony this time. I think I left some other things out, and I got hit with 6 felony charges from some activities I was doing from 2014, and there was no way I would have been able to deal with that type of stuff, man, if I didn't have people like here to help me and guide me through what to do. I was told just to do Alcoholics Anonymous and things would happen just the way they are. And so I got hit with those charges, and Mark was there for me the whole way, man. He said that they do the best they can to help me and guide me through this, and my sponsor as well. And so they were even going to go to court for me and stand there and help me, and if I needed them to, and stuff like that, man. It's just, man, I've never had that before, man. I was always going out there in the world to deal with all these problems on my own. Never had the help that I've had from being in here. So I went to court for that stuff, and I was looking at it. I was about to be a habitual felon, and for some reason, just by doing what I was doing here, everything happened the way they should have. I ended up getting 4 of the felonies dropped and pled guilty to two of the charges, and got 3 years probation for that, and 3 to 5 years in prison if I mess up. But I'm not here for any legal problems or anything like that. I'm here to maintain my sobriety, and I'm not here to get in out of any trouble or anything. And I accepted that I'm an alcoholic and all that stuff before coming in these doors. This time, I know I have a problem, and the only way to treat it is just come here and listen to y'all. And this time I was so sick of living the way that I was living, and the people in here told me that I never have to live like that ever again. And that's a big deal for me, man, because I was addicted to the lifestyle I was living. Had so many addictions before coming in here and going to prison this time. And but what I do know today that I didn't know the first time going through the colony. I thought I was going through the colony to get off of pain medication, and really never took a look out my alcoholism or anything. And so going there, I was trying to share this the other night, but I blacked out. So I go there to get off pain medication, and I go there, and they hand me an Alcoholics Anonymous book, and at that time I was so confused. Didn't really thought being an alcoholic was somebody that just drunk too much and all that stuff, and really didn't think I had a problem with alcohol. But like I said, they handed me an Alcoholics Anonymous book, and I'm not a real fast learner, slow learner, and so going through there, learning just a little bit about being an alcoholic and learning a little bit about alcoholism, that it's all the same. Nothing's different, man. So when I say I'm an alcoholic, I'm everything. I can't just go out there and drink 1 or 2 and put it down. I can't just go out there and use and do it a little bit and leave it at that. Once I start drinking, I don't stop. And that's the things that I was taught here. And learning that stuff the first time going through Samaritan Colony and coming through here, I went back out and started drinking. And what I did find out that y'all were right. I cannot drink and be normal, or can't drink and put it down. There ain't no way. Because once I start drinking, I get in trouble. And numerous DWIs. Actually, this year, all the holidays that I would always buy like a half. I was always buy big bottles of liquor, make sure I was straight during the holidays, and always had liquor in the trunk and the closet. Just it was everywhere I went, and I don't know how I didn't know I had a problem. I was so I was so blinded by this disease. But after all the DWIs, in and out of jail, never knew I had a problem. I don't know how, but it's just it's a miracle to be able to stand here tonight and talk to y'all and tell y'all about. But the whole point of me standing here tonight is hopefully to carry a message. That hopefully somebody in here gets a message out of here, and to know that this disease, it's life or death for me and a lot of other people. Through this year, this journey in my life right here, this year of being in recovery, I got to see how serious this disease is, even while I was behind the walls. This disease wants me dead and everybody else dead. And talking to Mark on the phone before I got released from prison and all that stuff, he told me that it's not getting no better. And he was right, man. I got out and got to go to places and see people dealing with this disease right here, and it's not getting any better out there. And so all I can do is just try to be there for the next person that needs some help, and try to help the next man out. But I know that this time that by having a relationship with a higher power today, never thought. My mom, she raised me in a church, man. I was in a Catholic church in Southern Pines, St. Anthony. So that's a church me and my brother and everybody went to. I didn't really understand none of that stuff when I was younger or anything like that. I didn't really want anything to do with that stuff, man. And so I actually ran away from God my whole life and really didn't have too much to say. I was always, but going through the colony, they taught me things that I can't even explain here, but they taught me how to pray, be grateful for the things that I do have, and be grateful for the things that I don't have in life. And that place has been a big part of my life, man, and both times, even with the first time that I went there, and I thought everybody was out to get me. It was just because of the life I was living before I went there. I never had too many people be so nice to me in my life. But like I said, this disease right here, like I said, I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, man, and my mom, she was able, not for me, growing up around my mom and stuff, man, I barely seen her drink alcohol. She was able to leave it alone and never drink again, and she didn't even have to come through these doors. And me and my brothers and my sisters, we were ate up with this disease right here, alcoholism and other things as well, but it's all the same. And it's just a miracle to be able to be here tonight, and probably gonna end up keeping it short, man. And I really do appreciate everybody here. Y'all helped me out so much along the way, and I'm very grateful for everybody here, and thank you for letting me share.